we would have saved millions of lives in the first phase of SARS-2.
You are weakening it through some molecular biology, and that pathogen you are injecting to human body. Now it is not causing the disease, but your immune system now knows, okay, this is the pathogen, I need to be prepared myself.
For the next 35 minutes before Gloria starts to do her glorious dance with the bell, we'll talk about something that has come up in the last, I would say, 4 years with a real bang and prominence. Something that was in the background for more than 25 to 30 years. And what brought that into prominence was the pandemic. Where do we go from there? Where do we see the future of us tackling pandemics? And I don't want to, as the title, if I can remember, it's not there, the lessons from the pandemic. So we won't be emphasizing or focusing entirely on COVID, but we will use that as a starting place to go beyond COVID and to look at the kind of diseases that afflict Indians that the rest of the world is possibly not as bothered to cure as the diseases that afflict them, especially Western nations. And I think there are a few points that, Shailja, we can start off with before we come to the specifics of mRNA vaccines and their future. We would have saved millions of lives in the first phase of SARS-2 because the spike protein of both SARS-1 and SARS-2 are very similar, portions of them identical, and the vaccine that would have obviously killed SARS or not allowed SARS-1 to gain infection would have helped a lot in preventing the kind of spread of SARS-2 that we did in the initial month, even going forward a year. So that's the first lesson. Do not stop funding, do not stop doing science just because the pandemic has disappeared. Because the pandemic never disappears. And right now, if we believe that we will never have another pandemic, we could not be more wrong. There is SARS-3, there will be SARS-4. The question is our preparedness. What is a vaccine? And how does it work, and why do we need a vaccine as opposed to a drug?
Yeah, so thank you, Anand. It's a nice introduction why we need a vaccine. Yeah, is it okay now? Yes. Yeah. So to start with, like when we already have disease, of course we treat them with the help of drugs and other things. But we want to prevent happening the disease. That time vaccine comes into picture because we just don't want the disease, what is around us. So in that case, to have the protection, the vaccine works. And how it works? Because basically your immune system, which is there in your body, you are training them to remember this is a pathogen which will cause the disease. So once your body is trained to detect the pathogen which is going to enter into your body, you are already prepared. The immune system of your body is prepared. So in that case, memory is there in your immune system. As soon as the pathogen or any per se disease-causing element is entered in your body, your immune system has a check. It will detect and also clear it. So detection as well as clearance is being done by the immune system. How will you train your immune system? Because your immune system has not seen the pathogen yet. So you are providing the information in terms of DNA, RNA, protein about the information about the pathogen to your body, and that's called the vaccine. So vaccination is that your immune system is now able to recognize and clean it from your system. So in that case, as already there could be many ways of making vaccine. For example, as we know, for SARS coronavirus, we have two types of vaccine majority. Like we can have the whole pathogen, we can weaken it, we can kill it. So the pathogen is in actual form and you are just killing with some chemical inhibitors, you are killing them for irradiation, you are weakening it through some molecular biology, and that pathogen you are injecting to human body. Now it is not causing the disease, but your immune system now knows, okay, this is the pathogen, I need to be prepared myself. Second is that you don't need to have the whole organism, but you can have information from the organism, information from the pathogen. So what is the information? The information is the coding in that pathogen, which is there in its DNA or its genetic material like RNA. So in that case, you get the information in the form of DNA sequence or in the form of RNA sequence. Or you just want, okay, no need to do that, you have the information, make the protein, give the protein, which is a subunit vaccine. So like very, very known vaccine, polio vaccine. It's a whole cell vaccine. The virus be killed and given orally. So your immune system is trained. There are subunit vaccine where you are giving the protein and then you are challenging your body to recognize. Now comes the mRNA vaccine. Why the mRNA vaccine is good and why we need it? First of all, of course there are some challenges involved in the mRNA vaccine, but at the same time it's faster because you are just taking the sequence from the pathogen, putting it into the human body, in your body. Let's say I am just putting an information to a human body, but the information is something which you require, but even the delivery method you are seeing as a foreign. So
here again, I'm like an inquisitive child. I speak for the audience.
Yes.
Because it's very interesting. Each question comes and it cascades into another question. Now, our human cell is so fiendishly clever. Otherwise, anyone, any virus, an RNA virus or something like that would inject the RNA into the cell and nothing would happen. But our cell sees that even RNA as foreign and destroys it. So if you were to make an mRNA vaccine, you are injecting a foreign RNA, your body would destroy it. So the vaccine would not work.
Yes. So in that case, even the vaccine you have to humanize it. Meaning it should look to your body as your own because information is there. And there comes the Nobel Prize work by these two scientists. What they did, they just modified the mRNA. Why they modified? They wanted this sequence of mRNA to be like recognized as a self. And then second thing, they also wanted it to be stable because as soon as you are going to put the mRNA in the human body and I will just degrade it. So in that case, it is not going to help you. Third thing, even your immune system should not be provoked by that mRNA. And the fourth thing, the information should be properly translated. As he just said, from DNA to RNA, RNA to protein. If the RNA is not going to make protein, it is not going to work. So in that case, all the 3 points being taken care by the two Nobel laureates, where they could modify the mRNA. So you can see in this picture where if you are putting just the mRNA vaccine, which is a unmodified form, it will just go and it will be degraded, one thing, and even the body of a human will see it as a foreign and then it will evoke some unnecessary immune response. But in case of their discovery, they made some changes into the mRNA and that mRNA is now recognized as a self. It will do its job properly. It will translate to the protein and it will also evoke a very specific immune response which is required, like against the SARS coronavirus. And in our case, now we are trying to put the sequence for the malaria.